Before we get into the heat of this video, I wanted to take a quick second and thank all of my sponsors for the program this year, and that's going to be PRP Seats, Seal Savers, Maru Safety, Advanced Coatings, First Form, and all of the First Form staff that have helped me on my nutritional goals, my fitness goals, and just education along the way. And then I've got Double E Racing has been a big supporter, Thomas Hartzell at HBR&P Powersports, Jeremy Seek with Seek Designs Racing, Matt Kriesel with Kriesel Outdoors and Off-Road, and then we've got Valor Offroad, Valor Wheels, and many other companies that have helped support me along this incredible journey so far. Without them and without you guys, I would not be out here doing this, and I just hope you guys can pick up on a few things that I maybe learn in my progress and kind of my journey. And if you want to go racing, maybe you can use some of this stuff to your advantage, and hopefully I'll see you out on the track one day. But with that being said, let's go ahead and kick it to the video because we've got a lot of action ahead of us and it is going to be insane. We headed down to Jay, Oklahoma for round 2 of the Heartland Racing Association Short Course Series at Mid-America Outdoors. This was my 3rd race in the car, so we're still learning this thing. We're still learning how to get out there, be competitive, and continue to learn to be faster on the track. We hit it off hard with qualifying on Friday morning, and we were in a stacked class. I mean, there was 15 racers starting this race. Based off of round 1, I knew it was going to be a very, very competitive class, which is good because I need that competition to continue to learn and be better in the car. But we headed out there for qualifying, started pretty far in the back, and went out there and learned more on the track. Sadly, there was a wreck on the first lap, and that car was actually in the track, so they could not clear it in time for us to continue to really get some good fast qualifying laps in. Every lap we had to slow way down in that section, which was fine because everybody had to deal with it. It wasn't just like a me problem. Everyone's lap times were down because of that caution. However, it just really proved how fast this track and this class was, because on the times between 1st place and 12th place, which is where I finished qualifying, we were only 2 seconds apart, and we ran about 4 or 5 laps. And for consistently to only be about 2 seconds behind 1st place, we were pretty stacked. So that got us set up for the heat race.
Front rows, Rich Ramey and Randy Boyder. Cameron Whitworth, Parker Frank, row 2. Jared Byer, Dylan Jackson, row 3. Row 4, Ariel Boyarski. Jackson Tucker. Row 5, row 6, Colin Schmidt and Brody Sands. Contact all over the racetrack on the first half lap, and now one car's off the track once again. That's not the first time, I believe. I missed who it was. Racing for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Oh, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd between Boyder, Ramey, and Byer. So it looks like Ramey tries the inside line coming out of the Talladega turn and trying to make a little ground. Now watch for the outside entrance, inside exit. Maneuver, no, nothing there. And meanwhile, here comes Bear to the outside. This is super tight, 2 wide. Both lanes are taken up. Bear trying to find anywhere around it. Almost seems like he may be the faster of the 3 right now. right there. No, he has to fall back to second. Now watch again. Raby will go to the inside, but Boyder's going to have that big high banking to come right back with all that momentum going into the next left-hander. Now watch for Raby to try that inside to cut in. No, nothing is there, but here comes Bayer once again. Excellent racing for 1, 2, and 3 coming to the competition yellow. And Boyarski now getting into the mix of things. Competition yellow, and it'll be Boyer with the top spot, Bayer in second, Raby third, Boyarski fourth. Here comes Boyer waiting for that green to fly, and right at the first cone he takes off. Lane, the inside has that tabletop, the outside is a little bit longer but smoother. Somebody, I missed it, somebody's on the outside, went way outside that final corner. Definitely keeping Randy Boyer true. They're keeping him honest. Few more turns remaining. Oh, contact made. I missed who it was. Again. Our top five, Randy Boyer, Ariel Boyarski, Rich Raby, Colin Schmidt, and Brody Sands on top five, Dylan Jacobson.
So we finished 4th place overall, but it took a lot to get there. Starting with even getting to the start line, we were battling issues with the car. So we qualified in the morning and I didn't race till about 4:30. Got ready to go get in the car and started it up and it just click, click, click. It would not start. And luckily, Thomas Hartzell and Colin Greenfield helped me out so much here. Thomas was getting the jump box on there, was able to get it fired up, and then Colin was helping me get all the body panels back on. He actually told me to hurry up and get in the car and get all my safety equipment on, and he was just gonna get everything put back together. So they helped me tremendously. And then we had to race up to the start line, which luckily Thomas, once he got it started, he booked it up there on his pit bike. He was telling the race director, hey, he's coming, he had an issue, he's on his way up there. And we booked it up there. Colin was up there already, moving the gates, getting me lined up. And we got out there and we didn't even stop in staging. They were already running down the hill to the track. So I just got right in line, 12th place, because that's how I qualified. And we had to just go. So my adrenaline was pounding from the time I got in the car until the race started. So it was stressful getting to that starting line, but We got there, not even a lap in, there was carnage left and right. As you saw in the video, just wrecks all over the place. And we just knew we had to stay consistent, try to avoid all of that at all costs. And eventually we just kept weaving our way up. And I wanna say at the competition caution, we were in 6th place. So we had moved up 6 positions in the first few laps. We knew the car was hot. It was still running good, but we were getting hot. And we only had to get 2 more laps out of it. So I knew it was go time. I wanted to really keep trying to move up in the field. And we ended up getting past 2 more people on those last few laps. One guy had a technical issue and he kind of pulled off to the side of the track. And then Ryan Denny actually got spun out right before the finish line and we were able to pass her. I knew that was gonna be pretty tough when we got to the final because she is a fast racer and I knew she was gonna be starting behind me and she was gonna be coming for my spot. But all that said and done, the heat race did not go out without some issues with the RZR on the end. So as we were going around to the final lap, I got a little out of control and hit the barrier right before the tabletop jump and actually just destroyed my wheel bearing. The Valor Offroad wheels took the hit like a champ, but the wheel bearing blew out and it also broke the boot on the axle. I was still able to finish the race, obviously, but we had some work to do to get the car ready to go for the final event.
So across the line for the comp yellow will be Boyder, Raby, Bayarski. Denny moves up in that 4th spot. How about that? Colin Schmidt, top 5. Tucker, Gorsuch. Gorsuch, nice run by him as he started dead last.
Wow, that is a good drive.
So he's got a good run going. We might have to keep an eye on him. So Rich Ramby will take the win. Ariel Bayarsky and Ryan Daney pretty much showing the boys all but one what to do out there on that racetrack. And let's see, Jackson Tucker comes across the line in that top 5. Colin Schmidt, Jeff Gorsuch.
We got out there for the final event, started 4th place, and the people in front of me were fast. I knew they had faster cars than me, they had more skills than me, but I just had to try to remain calm and just run my race. So, and that's pretty much what we did. As you can see in the race footage there, they were definitely faster. They were knocking on the rear bumper several times. Ryan Denny was the first one that got around me, and I knew she was going to be trying to push super, super hard because she is a top 3 contender all day long. And she finally ended up getting back by me. We were going down the long hill, and she just got right up next to me, and I couldn't pinch her off. I couldn't do anything, so I just stayed out of it, and she was able to just scoot on around me and continue on her race. And I think she ended up finishing either 2nd or 3rd. So she was definitely running hot that day. And then there was one other guy that ended up getting past me in the heat race. I ended up figuring out how I passed him, but the heat race, he actually blew a tire. So he was running a little slower then, and I was able to pass him. But then in the final event, obviously he started behind me, but he had the speed and was able to get around me as well. So that knocked me back into 6th place, which overall I was pretty happy with. I know there were some fast people still behind me, but I was able to kind of hold them off, not blocking them the whole time, but making it a pretty competitive race. And I definitely learned a lot. So a few things from that race: everyone else 2-foot drives. So you've got your foot on the brake and your other foot on the gas. And especially with these RZRs, well, any of the turbo cars, you really don't want the turbo to spool down. You want to make sure you're constantly on that gas, keeping it in the boost. Well, I 1-foot drive, so every time I switch over to the gas or over to the brake, you can really see me slow down in the corners. And there's some times where it definitely held up the people behind me. So I apologize for that. That's something I'm definitely going to be working on in the future, because I know I could gain a lot of time by just doing that 2-foot driving. So that's a skill I'm going to be working on here going forward. But then also what we noticed is the charge temps were getting higher. The engine temp also got high. So once we got home, I was able to dig into the data a little bit with the DynoJet tuner and looked at my temperatures, and we were 3 degrees away on engine temp from going into limp mode. So limp mode on this is 240, and I was running at 237 at one point. And I think that was right before the competition caution. So we were running and then idling / stopped before we started rolling again and going back to the start line. So I think that's when it really spiked on a high temperature. And then it came back down. I think we were usually around like 190 to 205 in that range. But our charge temperatures were up to 154, and I think it's 170 is the cutoff. So we were about 13, it was something in there, or 167, somewhere in there. We were 13 degrees away on charge temp from losing power. And the whole time, and I say losing power, when you go to limp mode, because of that, you're limited to 4,000 RPM, and we were not at that level yet, but there was definitely a lack of power. And I think that's just because of the hotter intake temps. Hot air just doesn't make as good a power as cold air, obviously. So we were losing some power throughout the race, but we were able to finish strong. Definitely, I'm glad I was able to finish at least and not be taken out because of those temperatures. But we have some things we're going to be working on going forward. So again, the big thing is going to be the 2-foot driving. That's going to be a big, big skill for me. I know I'm going to pick up a lot of time doing that and just being more comfortable in the car. And then the thing to address the temperature, we've got a little setup from RPM Powersports we're going to be working on. So I'm going to be heading over to Seek Designs here in the next week or so, and we're going to be working on an air-to-air intercooler setup. I'll save a lot of the details for that video, but I'm super stoked on that. It's going to be an awesome project that we've got going on. But for now, that's going to be it for round 2 at Mid-America. We went from 12th to 4th place in the heat race, and then 4th place to 6th place in the main. But I'll take it. We're learning, we're evolving, we're learning the car, we're finding the weak points, and we're going to keep addressing them. So again, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. You hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.